Hi there everybody, thank you very much for joining us, and today I'm pleased to announce that I have a good friend of ours here, Ash Davidson from Woodshield. Ash has travelled in all the way from Brisbane in southeast Queensland there, and he is the National Development Manager for Woodshield. G'day to you, Ash.
Pods, nice to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us, mate, and here we are sitting on some classic Woodshield posts, proudly supplied by your good self, Ash. Tell us about Woodshield. How did it come by? How did you become involved? And what are the pros and cons of your Woodshield product?
Thanks, Pods. Woodshield came about because in the vineyards there was lots of broken posts. The CCA posts, like the ones that we've got at the back there, breaking off, and same with the creosote, and then lots of dripper tube and irrigation pipe as well that was sort of just lying around. So a couple of guys were out there drinking wine, as you do, and they said, wouldn't it be great to have a post that's made out of the waste kind of thing, that's something that we can do that's not going to break. So they decided to muck around. They were plastic guys, and they come up with the medium density polyethylene from the drip tube, recycled round and put onto a timber post. But there's no chemical in that timber post, and the reason being, when it's fully encapsulated in the poly, you don't need to have any chemical, and at end of life you can recycle the whole thing. And with the timber not being treated with no chemical, it doesn't need to have special permission to go to landfill. It can be burnt or it can be mulched. So you can peel the poly off like a banana, and that can be recycled again. The timber can be mulched or burnt back, so that's sort of no cost. And at the end of the day, you've got something that's going to last about 4 to 5 times longer than a CCA post, about 40% stronger. Hence, these little ones here, that's our standard round post there, that has the strength of your standard sort of 4 to 5 inch fence post, but 100% more flex. And that's what the vineyards wanted at the start, because when they're harvesting, they go over those posts and the posts shake to get the grape off there, and that's when they were finding if it's rotten at the bottom, they were snapping off. Whereas these things, obviously, you're not going to get any issues with rot, so they don't snap off. They've got more flex because the poly shield holds it in nice and tight, and you don't get that crack and snap that you would with a timber post.
Okay, excellent. So my bit of research says, Ash, and we've got a bundle of Creo posts behind us here. And the first thing you said, and I agree with you totally, we pulled up a seat a few minutes ago and then bang, we were hit with the odour of the creosote. And I've got to admit, these posts have been sitting outside for 18 months, pushing on 2 years. So they have been drying, but there's still that really strong, evident smell of the creosote base that hits you between the eyes. But with those inline posts, they're 1.8, 4 to 5 Creos there. The price of the Creo posts compared to the Woodshield posts that you would use for your inline posts, I would say is very, very comparable now.
It would be, with creosote especially. It all depends now. Creosote's getting harder and harder to get. You've got to place your orders in, and then your fingers crossed you're going to get them. And then you've also got the handling issues. I don't know if your workers are happy to handle creosote, because you've got the gloves, the masks, the goggles. Some of these guys in the vineyards even wear suits because you get that chemical burn on the cheek. And yeah, that smell is, even after, what did you say, a year and a half.
That's right. The interesting part about the handling there, Ash, that's a very, very good point. We had a gentleman working for us, a lovely fella. He's been in the agricultural sector as a farmer and in the resale business for the entirety of his working career. He came on board for a period of time. We were doing a job with the Woodshield posts. He said, and I kid you not, 2 to 3 minutes in, maybe no more than 5, he said these posts are just lovely to handle. Gloves on, gloves off, doesn't matter. Yeah. They're uniform, they're beautiful to handle, and we found them very easy to use in the fence installation process. I guess one of the take-home messages is that we've got to be very careful. Obviously, we put our posts in the ground, Ash. We've then got to hold a wire or a number of wires to the post. That is why the post is in the ground. but we just can't use our normal fencing staples or barbed fencing staples. Can you just tell us why, and then maybe give us some examples of the products that you would recommend to use with the wood shield posts?
Yeah, Pods, you can nail it and you can screw it like you would any normal post. Like you said before, the barbs, which are quite common to be used in treated timber posts, for example, the barbs, when it goes through the plastic, where that barb is, it'll leave a tiny little hole. And where that tiny little hole is, you can get water, moisture, you can get temperature, you can get rot through there. It's pretty rare when you think about it because, the post is outside. I mean, these get used in the ocean. I don't know if you eat plenty of oysters down there, but off the Eyre Peninsula down there, these are in the ocean growing oysters, and they still screw or nail. That's a riser from an oyster farm. Now, they still nail and screw them, and the ocean comes up and down over the posts every day. But otherwise, who wants to use a hammer nowadays when you've got all these new fasters anyway? You just get on the end of the drill and you can punch it in no problem. I mean, that's a vineyard clip there with a screw, or one there with a nail. Chances are that, people go with the screws anyway because the drill's a lot easier. You got the Davos fencing clip from Western Victoria, that's pretty popular now. You got staples without barbs that work. The reason why they put barbs on staples was to keep them in the wood, because the wood would dry out and crack and the staple would come loose. Whereas with this product, the staple doesn't get loose because the post doesn't dry out and crack. So you've got no cracks, no splinters, it just stays in there. So you get a lot more longevity with less maintenance.
That's excellent to know, and a really good benefit of the wood shield post. So here we are talking about fencing. We've been very general, but from our conversation before we've rolled on camera today, Ash, you've let it be known to me and Belle that the wood shield posts are used in a variety of ag industries. Can you just touch on them, whether it be oyster leases in the sea to equine fences to anything in between?
Well, they started with vineyards, as we discussed before, and that was just because of the breakage rates, and then they were picked up and they were put into oyster farms because the ocean and the marine borer don't eat them, they last. And then they got picked up and used in horse fencing, purely, I think, because the maintenance factor, horses don't eat them and they don't have to be painted. The way that they go in, they stay like that. They don't degrade. And then we've got playgrounds being built out of them, bollards for car parks and park surrounds and what have you. The orchards are using them. We're organically certified and have been for over 10 years. And a lot of organic people use them purely because they don't really have a choice as such. And it's good for the environment. This is a sustainable product from a circular economy, taking ag waste and putting it around sustainable timber that can be recycled at the end of life.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, just a great product. We realise that it may not be for everybody, but It's certainly another option out there in the fencing. We've got the CCA behind us, the treated pine, which is the CCA. We've got the creosote, which most people out there are familiar with, but now we've got another product called Wood Shield, and fantastic product, very durable, very strong, and I think it is price competitive.
Yeah, if you want to build something that's going to last and you want to have low maintenance, then we would say that this is the go. You're right, it's not going to be for everybody. Steel's going up. Your prices of steel are ridiculous, and steel can be dangerous for animals at the same time. Plus, you don't have the flexibility using different types of fasteners. The creosote is not good for anyone. I don't think we should be sitting here for much longer anyway. And then the CCA is, treated timber. It's got copper, chrome, and arsenic in there. They're all carcinogenic. And at the end of life, which is a big cost nowadays, if you've got a property and you want to change things up, redo it, a landscape, and you're ripping out, you're going to have to pay to dump them because you can't burn them. You can't just take them to the rubbish dump. You've got to go to a licensed landfill to get rid of them. And that's one of the things we used to see in the vineyards, piles and piles of broken posts and you can't do anything with. So nowadays, if you're looking at products, I think especially in the ag sector, you've got to look at what's the end of life, where's your responsibility. Otherwise, you're digging a big hole and you're dumping it in there for the next generation.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Ash, the other point you made is I don't think we should sit here for too much longer with the creos in the background.
Yeah.
I know you've got a plane to catch this afternoon heading back to the Sunshine State.
Yeah, hopefully
So-
it's not raining.
Hopefully it's not raining. Ash is from Queensland, as I mentioned. There's only so much a Queenslander can take of the Adelaide Hills weather in
Unless
June.
we've got a glass of red by the fire, then we're all right.
That's right. Okay, thank you
Okay.
again for your time,
No
Ash,
worries.
and safe travels and all the best.
Cheers, Pods.